Those of you looking forward to that last March 22nd, 1991 game are going to have to wait just a little while longer. Tricky is another one of those rare cases where the TurboGrafx version, called Tricky Kick in the US, was released before the PC Engine version. It's also the only one of these I've identified where the game is Japanese. All of the other US first releases were by US or European developers. It's thought that Tricky Kick reached store shelves sometime in the spring of 1991, so I've dropped it here in the middle of March. Tricky doesn't have a story. It has 6 stories. And for some reason, there's 6 different sets of visual design for stages, each one used for 10 levels, and they gave each of those their own story. Not that any of the stories actually matter, and the gameplay is the same regardless of who you're using. So you've got an elf defending its forest, a giant superhero smashing monsters, a boy exploring a haunted house, a caveman seeking food for his family, a young woman dealing with neighborhood punks, and a samurai fighting his enemies. Everyone gets an opening cutscene to explain who they are, and then after you clear 10 puzzles, you get a cutscene that gives them an ending. There's really no difference between any of the 6 characters, though. They solve the exact same style of puzzles, using the exact same abilities. The only real advantage to it is that you always have a selection of 6 puzzles, or at least until you've completed someone's set. So you don't have to beat your head against the wall and can jump around if you want to. The goal on every stage in Tricky is to eliminate all of the creatures by slamming pairs of them together. The way you do this is by walking up beside one of them and pressing button 1. That will kick it, and the person, monster, whatever you kicked will slide along until it collides with something else. If there's 2 things side by side, then you can transmit your kick through one of them, but this only works with 2 in a row. 3 or more does nothing. This also means that if you have a matching set side by side and kick one of them, you'll send the other one sliding. Usually that's not a problem because you can send the other one right behind it, but there are going to be some puzzles where you don't want to do that. There are a few additional features that can be found on stages. Arrows will add an additional push in that direction to anything that passes over them. Besides letting you slide things around corners, arrows can give you enough time to move around and block the object in another way. If the level is open at the sides, then the whole thing loops around, and kicked objects and you can pass freely back and forth. If you make a mistake, there is an undo, but it only undoes 1 kick. Not kicking an object, I quite literally mean the previous time you hit button 1. So if you kicked empty air, or an object at the wall, or a big row of objects, then you've just overridden your undo while not doing anything. You can also hit the run button to immediately give up, and in that case, it just throws you back to the stage selection menu instantly. There's no way to restart a level that you're on. You have to back completely out and then select it again. Every stage in Tricky is on a time limit. You've got 5 minutes to solve the puzzle. And honestly, on a lot of stages, 5 minutes is not nearly enough time. It might take only a few minutes once you know the solution, but you could be lost in thought for 10, 20, 30 minutes. When time runs out, you get a game over and are thrown back to the stage selection. So I don't like the time limit here. It doesn't add anything, and it's not even a real obstacle. It's just an annoyance. When you go back to the stage select, you've got a password to let you continue right from where you left off. You're almost definitely going to need it, because with 60 puzzles, Tricky is unlikely to be a game you'll complete in one session. And that's all you really need to know to play Tricky. This kind of shove and slide puzzle is a variation on Sokoban, and the concept has been around almost as long. Usually in video games, this kind of puzzle's represented by sliding things on ice, but Tricky doesn't bother with that. Tricky doesn't seem to have been especially popular in Japan, but I did find a few people with some interesting things to say. First of all, everyone who talked about it mentioned how insanely difficult it is. How difficult? Well, one blogger I found said that it took them 10 years to beat the game. And to that person I say, I respect the dedication. The people who have played Tricky call it out as one of the most challenging puzzle games on the PC Engine. Longtime viewers of this channel know that I love my puzzle games. Give me anything that makes me stop and think for a while, and I am all for it. Now that said, Tricky does not escalate gently. There aren't tutorial puzzles here. It feels like every stage is designed around a gimmick that you have to figure out. Like on this one, you have to use all of the initial positions to move one of the monsters around in a big spiral until it can reach its mate. It's not a bad approach to puzzle design, but it also means you really can't experiment freely with them. It is trivially easy to accidentally put almost every puzzle into an unwinnable state. I don't just mean shoving things into corners where they're trapped and no one else can reach them. I mean, a lot of the puzzles depend on chain reactions, and if you've done something to the middle of that, then the whole thing becomes unsolvable. That's not a bad thing in terms of puzzle design, it's just a little more annoying since there's no easy way to reset. Tricky's a decently made, but maybe not top tier puzzle game. I enjoyed it and I'll probably play a few more stages, but someone who gets turned off by the very thought of pushing a block around is not going to have their mind changed by this one.